Right. So anybody has got any doubts or regarding the S matrix formulations? Right. So able to hope everybody is able to see the document. We'll have a small recap. So we had given the analytical formulation for scattering matrix. Right. So it was S matrix was fundamentally ratio of voltages right. Okay, so Midun Mitra.
Yes, sir.
Midun, S matrix was fundamentally set to a ratio of voltages, right?
Yes, sir.
Will you be able to measure that voltage?
I think we cannot, sir.
Then what are we actually telling there?
We are just comparing the like uh, we are getting the ratio rather than getting the value, sir. I think that's what we are doing.
Yeah. Okay. Sabesh. Thank you, Midun.
Yes, sir.
Sabesh.
Yes, sir.
Sabesh, and the voltage, we can't access that voltage, but how is it done? How is it actually did? How is it actually formulated? Why did we formulate it as ratio of two voltages?
But I'm not sure, sir. Not sure.
Okay, no problem. Predicts.
Yes, sir.
Predicts. Can you just solve that riddle? We defined it as ratio of two voltages, but as Mithun said, those voltages can be found out as it is in wave format. So how is this puzzle solved?
I'm not sure as well, sir.
Not sure. Who has got the answer? Anybody? Anybody can come up with the answer? Right. So that's a small.
We measure power instead. Is that we measure?
We measure power, correct, but there is a small riddle to be solved here. It's a defined as ratio of voltages, but still, but we can't touch that voltage. We can't access that voltage.
A detector does that for us, converts the field into the voltage.
Yes, thank you. So for the entire class, please understand at high frequencies, voltage measurement is difficult. So we standardized a measurement setup called vector network analyzer along with a detector, which will detect some, which will give you some voltages, right? Fundamentally, see, we need voltages. We need voltages, right? Because phase information is required. Phase information is required somewhere because we have a, for example, a device called phase shifter. A phase shifter should take an input wave and shift it by 180 degree or 90 degree or something. We'll be studying we'll be studying such devices. Phase information is a relevant parameter. You can't throw it away. Is a relevant parameter. Right. Right. Though we claim we can have microwave power, we can have power, right? A power measurement, power doesn't have scalar in what is the phase information, doesn't have phase information. This is the issue there. You can just measure 5 watts, 20 watts, 1 milliwatt, 1 microwatt, that's all. Doesn't have phase information. Right? Clear? So now try to get the story correctly. See, where did this all originate? Now, is everybody able to see a picture here? Shilpa, you're able to see a picture here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Shilpa, just for verification. Right, now just see something. This green color tube is called as a waveguide. Clear? And this gray color vessel, you now just have it as a vessel, that is called as a microwave source that is kept on a waveguide. Clear? This is how waveguides are used. And these are examples of waveguide based detectors. You get a power and you can, I told you there will be some standardized detectors. So if you have a waveguide system, right, the wave will be processed here, wave will be traveling here. This is a standard detector from which you can take an output. You see the connector over here. You can connect a coax cable or a BNC cable and take an output from it. So this is the setup there. So fundamentally, you should know that these are the things that we do. This is called as an N-port device. Thiruvikraman, Pakka mudida? Thiruvikrama. Sandeep? Sandeep?
Yes, it's visible.
Sandeep, it's visible. How many ports are there?
No, sir. Yes, sir.
That's okay. How many ports are here?
3.
3 ports. What do you think this device will do?
So does it split, sir?
Fantastic. That's all. No big deal. It's just like a plumbing activity. In plumbing, you have water splitter here. Thank you, Thiruvikrama. This is a wave splitter. So fundamentally, everything started from the waveguide scenario. Clear? Right? So just to make that story again relevant, right? When we went for high frequency, high power, right? Typically the radar based applications, these were the birth point of these things, right? Clear? Waveguides were used. Right? There it was simple power measurement was enough. Simple power measurement. Right? When the thing was amplifiers alone. Clear? But after World War II, when they wanted to take it to other applications, when they wanted to commercialize, right, high frequency applications, right, that is where the S matrix formulation was required. Please understand that correctly. That is when they saw that we will have to have, because when you want to commercialize, it is not simply power, phase, everything comes into picture. Right? All devices, what started with waveguide went into amplifiers, right, filters, etc. So here all phase was important. Please understand this correctly. Right? When initially when the waveguide came, they just wanted to transport high power to the antenna. They transported it using waveguide. So to characterize the waveguide, they did power measurements, took ratios of powers, and that was called as S matrix. This is the in-between point. Clear? So for waveguides, right, power measurement was done. Right, the ratios were taken, right, S matrix was given. Their S matrix was given. They didn't worry about the formulation and all. S matrix was given. For example, I showed you a splitter, a 3-way splitter. Right, now I can call it as A, B and C. This is a 2-way splitter. So clear. So this readily you can take an S matrix. This will be a 3x3 matrix. If I give in A, what happens in B, what happens in C? If I give in C, what happens in A, what happens in B? If I give in B, what happens in A, what happens in C? They wanted quick analysis. They didn't want to go into solving the Maxwell's equation inside and then finding out and all. They wanted quick results. That is where the S matrix helped us. Quick results. S matrix with power measurements. With power measurements helped. Clear? The requirements were also that much only. Right. But when did things change? After the World War, when they wanted to make more devices, when they saw that high frequency was very much attractive, when it came to other devices, when it came from the commercialization aspect, commercialization means developing applications for common man, right? Voltage idea was required. Voltage idea was required. Hence, this VNA detector and standards and so-called standardization was established. Were formulated. I'll use the word formulated. Right. That is where they devised the ratio of SMAT, the ratio definition also. Clear. So only when this situation came, right, when the commercialization aspect came, they saw that we'll continue with the S matrix domain, but only thing is we'll have a ratio S matrix as ratios of voltages. Right, to incorporate phase information. That is the main thing. Phase. Is the story clear? Right. So what started with the simple waveguide device, they saw that it was useful at high frequency for other things also, but they can't talk in terms of power. They wanted the voltage measurements. So the VNA detector standard was created, and hence was born that S matrix formulation. S Ij Vi minus by Vj plus Vk plus equal to 0, K not equal to J. Right, this is the idea there. So that is K can be anything other than J. So this is for an N-port device. This is the idea. Clear? So why I am telling all these things is why it was considered. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, I still don't understand why voltages are necessary here. Why couldn't be it could be a ratio of powers? Like
Yeah, I'm trying to convey that point. Previous to World War II, they were doing some ad hoc measurements. You take a T junction, if it was damaged, they repaired it, and to see whether it was working properly, they measured powers at all aspects, found out the S matrix and verified it. They didn't go into Maxwell's equation analysis. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Right. The same idea of high frequency, when they wanted to make circuits also at high frequency, they decided that we will go with that same part of analysis. But only thing, they devised the voltage standards. Right, because in phase shifters and filters and all, we need voltages. Power will not give you any phase measurements. That's all. Getting it, Shira?
Okay, sir. Then, like, if we can use voltages, why not currents?
That is debatable. I told you, they decided some detector standards and VNA standards. So there it was just, actually you're not going to see this voltages even, no. You're only going to see a dimensionless quantity. S matrix is dimensionless. That's all.
Yes.
Getting it? You can have it as I by I also. No issues. There is no big deal there. Clear?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You got the feel there actually why that was never an issue for them actually. Only thing they wanted phase information there. S matrix, the individual element of an S matrix cannot be a simple magnitude number. It has to have phase. Only then we can devise other equipments like amplifiers, filters and oscillators. Getting it, Sriram? If it was a simple waveguide piece, we don't need phase. They just wanted to know how the power split, whether power was going from one point to another point. Is my idea going ahead clear, Shriram?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right. So when they adopted it for circuit level, they wanted it at a voltage level definition. Rather than telling like that, they wanted phase information also. So the development of VNA, the development of detector, the formulation of S matrix definition. Getting it? Everything is now tied together. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
That's all. That is what I am trying to tell there. Okay. Right. So why it was considered as dimensionless? Because if you take the Z matrix or H matrix for a transistor, it will predominantly be voltage by current or current by voltage. So you had the unit of ohms or ohm power -1 there, but S matrix is considered as dimensionless because of the previous history. Please understand it, because historically it was dimensionless. They measured power and gave it dimensionless. Historically it was dimensionless. Right. So they maintained the same thing. So the idea is the high frequency voltmeter called vector network analyzer. If it gave out a voltage matrix, you interpret it like this. Right. This gave us a convenient measure for it. Clear? The idea was to incorporate phase into S matrix. Was to incorporate phase into S matrix. Right. So this is the idea of S matrix formulation. Clear? It should be very, very crystal clear. Now we will be studying about high frequency systems where the realization will be in planar form. That is the idea there. Where it was useful is at high frequencies. Circuit realizations will not be as in a breadboard, will not be in breadboard or in a PCB. Right, it will be a planar realization. I have given subtle idea about this when we were talking about transmission line. It will be in planar transmission line based realizations. Right, hint. We studied a topic called transmission lines as circuit elements. Please remember that as circuit elements for designing inductors and capacitors. Hope you remember this thing, inductors and capacitors. Right. So this will be the way of realization. It won't be a breadboard realization. Please understand that correctly. For example, if you take the motherboard of a PC, right, it will be just a board on which copper lines are kept, board on which copper lines are pasted, on which copper lines are pasted, and ICs are interconnected using them. This is one way. If you take your cell phone SIM card, right, if you take your SIM card, it will be just having, if you see, there will be a small base like this. Then I will draw it using some other color. You will have, say, two lines like this, right? If you look at it correctly, this will be your SIM card formulation. Clear? It will be just two copper lines standing there. Clear? So this is a planar realization. Your SIM card is actually a filter. It should get only the call that you need. Clear? So if you take the thing correctly, you will have two copper lines like this. They have realized a filter here actually. Right? If you see it correctly, the shaded portion is a metal portion. Right. So if you take the mobile phone circuitry also, it will be something like this. So all the high frequency realizations are all planar form, and therefore here is where we need VNA based S matrix. S matrix characterization. Hope I am making my point clear. If I am not making my point clear, your duty to stop me and ask me how much ever questions. Please have patience. I will try to explain it to my level best. Right. So hope you get the idea of what is S matrix. So if you come to our lab, you design an antenna, right? Or you design a simple transmission line. Tomorrow I'll just show you a sample example of a transmission line that was designed in our lab, microwave lab. Right. Once you design it, you will just take it. So if I have a transmission, we designed a transmission line over plywood substrate. So what happened is we had a transmission, the substrate like this, a small board. Don't worry of anything else. And there you had a copper transmission line. Right. You had a connector. Here you had a connector. So there was research in choosing this material. That was the main work. Researching in this material. That was the main work that we did. So how do you characterize? Once you have designed, you wanted to know how transmission line, planar transmission line works on different materials. So we formulate this. Now, how do you characterize? How do you characterize? Right. Take this device. I'm just drawing it once again. Clear, you have the transmission line here. I'll just shade it like this. You have a connector. You have a connector. There is a VNA. Right. P1, P2. You connect it. Right. This will give me the S matrix. Right. So since right, since there are two ports, you will get an S matrix like this: S11, S12, S21, S22. This will tell me all the, this will give me all the things about this transmission line. Is everybody okay with this? Getting it? You will not find out any other thing about this transmission line. This S matrix will give me all the ideas. Am I making myself clear? Shriram, is the flow clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. Narendran?
Yes, sir.
Narendra Kumar?
Yes, sir.
Sharan, are you getting the as point here, Sharan?
Yes, sir.
Satyanarayana? Aditya?
Yes. Hello.
See, I'm just calling people so that I can involve as many people as I can. That's why. Akshay, 224 Akshay or 220 Akshay. Are you able to get the feel of this? How you should do? Clear? Now, if you want to make a planar transmission line based filter, you can do that filter, go to an VNA, measure it, then that's it. It will give you the S matrix. Is this idea clear? So the flow should be very clear. What started off with waveguide as a simple technique transformed itself into a very good technique at high frequency. It was solving many issues. High frequency, you couldn't measure voltmeter. So what they did, they standardized the voltmeter itself, right? And said that what this measures, take the ratio, finish. This is the final story of it. Clear? And the world and the Electronics Industry Association are happy with this. That is why we are proceeding in this fashion. Getting it? Right. Now, Samukta. Samukta.
Yes, sir.
Samukta, is the flow clear, ma?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, if I get this S21 as say 0.52. I am getting a value like this one. 0.52 angle 48 degree. What does S21 represent? As per the S matrix formulation, it is V2 minus by V1 plus. Shall I have it like this? Correct?
Yes, sir.
So what does any minus sign voltage represent?
The output power moving out.
Plus sign?
The incoming.
What will this ratio tell me? The output power at V2 towards the input power at V1. What will this ratio tell me?
In the sense, sir, like if they are equal, then.
No. What does a ratio of output by input? What will it tell me? That's what I'm just asking at that level. Don't worry about even that 0.52 and all. I told you, the moment you connect it to the VNA, it is giving me a value like this. So now you have to interpret it.
Yes, so the power going out is going to be 0.52 times the power coming in.
Fantastic. Can anybody expand the interpretation? Is this transmission line lossy or lossless? Who can come into picture? Rahul? Rahul, come into picture.
Yes, sir.
Rahul. So I have designed a transmission line on a substrate and I have connected to the VNA and I am getting S21 as 0.5. What is this transmission line lossy or lossless? Power at output 2. When I give power at input 1 is 0.5 times the ratio. So is this transmission line successfully transporting energy or it is not? Rahul, quick. I want an answer quick.
I guess it is not. Yes, sir. It's not successfully transmitting, sir. Lossy, sir.
I can call it as a lossy line. That's all. Finished. You got the analysis there. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Right. Clear? Thank you, Rahul. Now, what will S12 mean? V1 minus by V2 plus. Who can come into picture now? Trivikrama, Ullava, come into picture.
Yes, sir.
Trivikraman.
Yes, sir.
Trivikraman, yes, 1, 2 nuru value kadikima. I told you that VNA will give you all the values.
Yes, sir.
1, 2, what is the meaning of it?
The output at terminal 1, port 1, when the input is given at terminal output 2.
Reverse, you are just taking the reverse of it. 2, 1, it's up to us to maintain it as 1 and 2, okay? So for the entire class, I am telling it is up to us to nomenclate which is 1 and which is 2. So S12 and S21, right? Now, if I get S21 equal to S12, Trivikrama, what can I decide?
So I can say symmetric.
Fantastic. We call it as a reciprocal device. Okay, either way you can connect it. That's what we are trying to tell. Reciprocal device. Getting it? Is everybody getting it? Right. So for a field level RF worker, if the S12 and S21 are same, he needn't worry about which port to be connected. Okay. If you're going to connect, typically a transmission line is like that. If you have a transmission line, you can connect it either way. Getting it? This is what we can find out here. For example, if for an amplifier, you have designed an amplifier in planar form. Can anybody answer this question? Will we have S21 equal to S12? Bhuvan Sai, answer this question. Bhuvan.
Yes, sir.
You hired the flow. For now, the question is for a transmission line, it was okay. For an amplifier, you design an amplifier like this. Amplifier is also a 2-port device and you connect it to a VNA. Will you get this condition? S21 equal to S12?
Sir, I guess this is the ideal condition. You cannot achieve.
No.
Like
For a transmission, the functionality is such that you can connect it either way, correct?
Yes, sir.
For an amplifier, does it hold?
So like for amplifier gain 1, maybe yes.
Is it? You will give the so-called output terminal. Can you give some input there and expect something at the input terminal? Can anybody come into picture? And
No, sir.
clarify this question?
No, sir, we can't.
Okay.
Amplifier would have different input and output impedances.
Yeah, definitely. So for the entire class, I am trying to put it. See, depending on the functionality of the device, please understand that again and again. For an amplifier, we identify, say we identify port 1 as the input, port 2 as the output, then S21 will be valid. S12 shouldn't be there. If it is there, then your amplifier is not at all a device. Actually, it's not working correctly. Right. So this is how we could actually check out the devices. This is what I was trying to tell. Right. Now, yeah, tell me who's that?
Sriram sir. So let's say we don't know what the device is.
No. You know what is the device. So, sorry, Sriram. That is not the idea there. You know what. See, in planar form, you know how to design amplifiers. That is a known fact. That is an underlying concept. After designing it, you are going to check whether it is working properly or not. For that, you don't take a multimeter and insert it with probes. You just measure the S matrix. That is the idea. Okay.
So if we change the terminals, will we not get the S matrix or will it be junk value?
It will be some junk value. If you get the S21, if you get a very good S12, that means your amplifier is not correct. You are giving something at the output and something is happening at the input, then you are not done and good work. That's all.
Yes, okay.
Getting it?
Yes, sir.
For a if you are designing a simple transmission line, you expect that S12 equal to S21. Getting it? Amplifier is a non-reciprocal network. You can't expect this reciprocity there. Please understand that. Correct? Sriram, am I making myself clear? Is your doubts getting clarified?
Yes, sir.
Right. Sriram, please stay online. If I have a simple network like this, say somehow I design it, take this as a inductor L1, L2, L3, right? L1 equal to L2. Okay. Now this is my port 2. This is my port 1. Now Sriram, here will S12 will be equal to S21?
Yes, sir.
Okay, getting it. So it depends on the functionality. How did you expect S12 equal to S21, correct?
Yes, sir.
Because looking at the circuit itself, you will tell there is a little bit similarity there. This is a very, very silly example and a simple example. Right. Similarly, the moment you design the circuit, you know how the S matrix should come out because the definitions are very clear there. Clear? S2, you will designate one as port 1, another as port 2. And you expect some functionality and it has to work out. Okay, Sriram, that is the idea. There is nothing like you don't know what you are testing. No, that condition is not there. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Getting it clarified.
Yes, 100%. Yes.
Okay, good. Any other doubts? Any other doubts? See, the topic may look simple, but when I give you some design problems, it will be a little bit challenging. If you don't have good understanding here, it will be very difficult. That's why I'm taking time and spending classes here. Right. So now we have done with the transfer coefficients. Right. Transfer coefficients. What do you mean by transfer coefficients? Any coefficient involving two ports. Right. I can call S21 and S12 as transfer coefficients. It's not a big thing. I'm just making things simpler. Transfer coefficients means ratios involving two ports, two different ports. Right. Now there are two other values also, which are S11 and S22. Let us go into their idea. Right. Now there are some self coefficients. Right. What are they? S11 and S22. So let me just take this S11. How will I write it? I will write it as V1 minus by V1 plus. Right. Everything else Vk plus equal to 0. All the other ports, there should not be any input. Now, Samira.
Yes, sir.
Did you get the idea of self and transfer coefficients?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if my VNA shows a value S11 as 0.2, what will you tell me? Say I have designed a device, a transmission line, or an amplifier, or a filter, or anything, and I connect it to a VNA, and the S matrix is shown like this. Analytically, S11 means V1 minus by V1 plus. Now, what will you interpret the value 0.2? Amira, you're there?
So it means like it shows reflection.
Come on. Yeah, V1 minus stands for whatever is. What does a term V1 with a superscript minus mean?
It's the power measured at like the output port. The power as in the ratio.
Here both the ports are same. See the subscript.
Okay.
That's why I'm telling this analytical definition. How will you interpret?
So it means on how much the particular wave is being reflected. Or
Good. So let me just draw a picture here for everybody's convenience. This is any device, right? This is port 1 and this is port 2. So V1 plus is the incoming wave. V1 minus is the outgoing wave. V2 plus is the incoming here. V2 minus is the outgoing. So S11, right, provides the idea of reflection. How much is getting reflected back, right? So you are having a device. When will reflections occur? So this is a device, clear? So you are having the device like this, right? There is a cable that is coming from the VNA. Is connected here, right? This is cable from VNA, right? So when will S11 be a non-zero number? Who can get this answer?
The impedances are matched.
Good. So the idea is, if, right, I'll take this as this is the cable impedance. This cable has an impedance, right? Say ZC, clear? This is the device point at point A. Right? The device has been designed, right, for a V by I ratio. You call it the input impedance, right? So when they are in mismatch, you will have a reflection, which is seen in the S11. Clear? I am putting it as ZA. When ZC is not equal to ZA, S11 will be not equal to 0. When ZC equal to ZA, S11 equal to 0. Right? So you get a feel from this. So how we go about is, let me put it like this, right? ZC is cable of VNA, cable of standardized VNA, right? Usually known, right? So this S11 directly you can take it as reflection coefficient, which is ZA minus ZC by the sum of two things. Right now, ZC is known, S11 is known, simple. Right now, ZC known, right? Tau or S11 is known, right? We get ZA, which is nothing but the input impedance, simple. Impedance of the device. Right, you get the next parameter there. That's what I'm trying to tell here actually. Clear? Right. So S22. So in a similar fashion, S22 provides the impedance at the outer port, provides the impedance. Or in any other term, I can call it as output impedance. This is under the general idea that P1 is always input and P2 is output. You should know that you can take it in either way. Okay, so now you get all the things that you have actually done in a H matrix for a transistor. HFE, HIE, all those things has been done in high frequency also. You have got two transfer coefficients, you have got two self coefficients, and fine, that characterizes the entire device. So if you have a filter, S21 will give you the passband gain or passband attenuation or whichever you want, right? S11 and S22 will tell you the impedance mismatch at the ports. That's all. You have now characterized the entire thing. Simple idea. Actually, full thanks to the vector network analyzer, you have done everything in a single go. This is what the idea that I am trying to tell here. Is this idea clear? Shrija, 206. Shrija.
Yes, sir.
Is today's class clear for how from S matrix you can get a variety of values of this device?
Yes, sir.
So now the entire characterization is done actually there. Right, yes. If you have got it ready, now today's class is officially stopped here. Right, I'm expecting doubts. Hope the S matrix formulation class is over here. From tomorrow onwards, I'll get into some numericals or cases. If you get an S matrix like this, what do you do? If you get an S matrix like this, what do you do? So waiting for your doubts, anything? Otherwise, the class is officially over. You may have a class at 12 o'clock. Those who have doubts, please stay here. Others can log off. Thank you. The notes and everything will be available. The recording also will be available. Right. Shriram?
Yes, sir.
Is the idea clear? How just by getting the matrix values you come back to the circuit elements? Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Right. Thank you. Praveen, 239.
Yeah.
Praveen, is today's class okay, ma?
Yes, sir. It's clear, sir.
Clear. Right. All the high frequency things, how it was taken care and all those things.
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
Right. Anybody else? Yadishwaran?
It's clear, sir.
Clear. Kaushik?
Yes, sir.
Kaushik? Abhishek? All guys, come on. Tell me if you have any doubts, you tell me. Abhishek? 215, I think, correct? 215 yes, or 216, something. I don't know, get it.
Yes, sir.
Able to feel the things, ma?
Yes, sir, I understood.
Understood. Thank you. Guys in the last, Hashmita, Harshavina, got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Guys, I'm happy if you have got anything. Waiting for your doubts. Yeah, slowly I'll just stop off these things. Let me stop the recordings. Yeah. Yeah, if you don't have doubts, you can log off. Thank you.